Hello everyone, I want to share with you my current project. I was really intrigued by the BB Smack cell design, so I wanted to try my own kind of spin-off on it. The cell I've put together is 6x8 plates using a 1/16 inch gasket. There's a total of 25 plates in this cell, and I've been doing some testing. Currently the MMWs are not nearly what I had hoped for. Right now I'm maxed out about 5.1 MMW with this cell. If you can see down there, there are no feed holes. The brass plug in the bottom there is plugging the hole that used to be there for the feed, and it has a temperature thermometer plug, temperature sensor put into the brass plug to read the temperature. Currently the cell is running at 13.04 volts, 97 degrees, and 18.8 amps. I also used the little Centec infrared thermometer just to double check my temperatures on the side of the cell. Okay, right now it's running about 126 degrees on the side of the cell. For all of you guys who are using infrared thermometers, I think the best place to take the temperature is off the edge of the plates, not off the front of the acrylic. It doesn't read anything near what the actual temperature is on the end of the acrylic. Anyway, so with this cell design, the idea was to get the fluid level below the exit hole, the exhaust holes, and have no feed hole. So that's kind of what I've done. I've covered the feed holes in the plates with the gaskets. Kind of turned my gasket upside down. It's sort of a house-shaped gasket, as you can see. It's got angles on the edges, flat top. I know it looks like a mess, but I do have 3 meters connected to it. 1 meter, this meter here, reads the voltage per plate division. Then we have the voltage from the power supply, and then your temperature, and then amperage. And this is actually reading the amperage from the calibrated DC shunt. I got this little guy off of eBay for 20 bucks. Very accurate, very well made. One of the best 20 bucks I've ever spent on HHO. So I definitely recommend it. You may have seen them if you just search 50 amp, 50 millivolt DC shunt. It's a 1-to-1 voltage, so 1 millivolt equals 1 amp. And it seems to be very accurate. The way this cell works, I've got kind of a drawing over here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but the water, or the electrolyte, comes in through a small tube and has small little holes in the top of the tube where the electrolyte comes in and then drops down through the holes in a larger tube. The larger tube allows the gas to go up and then exhaust this outside. So it comes in, keeps the cell wet, and then the gas draining out or exhausting goes out this larger tube here. So there's a tube within a tube, and there are no bottom holes, and the electrolyte level stays just below the exhaust tube due to the pressure build up above the tube. And that's kind of the idea. And it's not near as efficient as I had hoped it would be. There's one other major there's another major problem with this cell. The fact is, there's no flow or exchange of fluid between the plates. As a result, there's a lot of heat buildup. I've actually run the cell at 30 amps at 13 volts, and the cell's gone all the way up to almost 160 degrees on the plates, to the point where you could actually start to smell the gaskets just slightly. Slight rubber smell. Yeah, it's not good. So that's the major drawback of having a very large cell with no feed holes in the bottom of the plates, because there's no exchange, there's no cooling effect, so the heat just builds up in a very large cell like this, and so it overheats very quickly, and the efficiencies aren't worth the effort. So I'm going to try a whole nother new design, but I thought I'd share this with you. Also, a new purchase that I've got is a 40 amp pyramid power supply. So far it's been a really great power supply. However, it's very undercooled. There isn't nearly enough cooling on the heat sinks inside. So I've got a couple PC fans in there on the heat sinks, and then I've got this little desktop fan blowing inside to keep the transformer and the circuit board and all that stuff cool. Now, it'll run all day long at 20 amps, but you start pulling 40, 45 amps out of this thing, and it overheats and shuts off right away. However, it is variable voltage, so I can set the cell voltage at whatever I want, and between 12 and 15 volts, and do tests. And when I'm doing my MMW test, I do start at 12 volts, then I go to 12.5, 13, 13.5, 14, 14.5 volts, and I do MMW test over a wide range of voltages to see what my optimal current or optimal voltage is, and voltage per plate spacing. I've found that in almost all of my tests, 13 volts, 5 neutrals, producing a 2.1 volts per volt spacing has been the highest efficiency of any test I've done. So that about wraps it up. I'll keep in touch with you. I'm going to probably post another video of the new design. It's going to take a while to rebuild it. It's going to be quite involved in construction. It involves divider plates and multi-single cells or something like that. Anyway, I hope this is helpful for you and informative. I also wanted to share with you the new HHO-meter, something I made up here. It has an acrylic base underneath of it with an elbow going up, and then there's a tube inside. I've got a piece of clear masking tape over the gap in the tube, just to keep the water from splashing out of the gap there. But the nice thing about this design is that the gap allows you to see the bottle coming up, but keeps it upright and vertical so that it doesn't bind or fall over when it gets to the top of the travel. And so it seems to be a lot more accurate, and I've used a 1 liter container that's measured out exactly 1 liter for this bottle, and trimmed the top of it so that it's exactly 1 liter when it comes to the top. And as you can see, it stays nice and vertical the whole way to the top until it starts to chug, and then you let it go and it drops right back down. So I really like this HHO-meter. Works really well for me. I've got the little T there, you just put your finger over it and away it goes. Anywho, I hope you've learned something and this has been informative. I appreciate any comments you guys have for me, and I'm watching your guys' videos and learning from you, so thank you for all that you guys share with me. This is Pete Dog signing out.